Hi, welcome to MarginDesk.AI tutorials. This session is going to cover adding costs or cost of goods sold. We'll cover creating a new cost from inside the interface. We'll also cover how to import costs from an Excel or export costs to an Excel. Let's log in. From here you can click on Configure Costs, Vendors, Products, and Pricing. We'll collapse the menu and then look to see what we've already got set up. In this account I can see that I've already set up a few cost items. Let's create a new cost item, import it to be a product. I click the plus icon and I'm going to select a vendor. I'm going to set up some customer success hours. Your product or service can be anything from a physical good to a product that you actually buy and resell. In this case, this is going to be part of our team, so I'm going to go ahead and click Customer Success Team. We're going to add customer success hours to our contract later, so let's go ahead and set up a product for that. Our cost category is going to be labor. The cost category and the cost subcategory fields you can either select from the list or you can type in something new. Next, give this a unit name, and you'll notice that hours also shows up here next to the units used to make things easier. We had 4,000 CS hours used just last month, so that's what we'll set up. For our cost allocation period, we'll set up 1 month. Next, let's put in what our pre-discount unit cost is for this. This is what we pay for a fully loaded headcount person on our team. Let's say this person is paid $65 an hour. In this case, there's no tariff, so we'll leave that alone. And as you can see, it starts to calculate other fields for us, including our total costs for all of the service hours that are used, and so on. We'll go ahead and create the new item. Now you can see that we've added a new cost item. If we want, we can click on this gear icon to see all of our costs. This is where you see the new item that we just created, the CS hours. And there are fields over here to indicate the daily cost or one-time cost. If you look at this recurring item, this means this is a recurring cost item. This one down here means that it is a one-time cost item. Let's go back in and look at that detail again. This particular item is a CS support item, and we're going to call it a recurring cost item because it's a recurring cost to us. If this was a fixed set of hours that we wanted to include with a particular set of features, we could call it a fixed cost item. If you're buying a piece of hardware, it's usually a fixed cost item. If you're buying an API or a certain number of APIs per month, then it's usually a recurring cost item. Now let's import that cost item directly into our products. You could click Create and create it from the Create screen, or you can import it directly from your costs right here. So I'm going to select this item. Let's set our markup such that we will get a 50% pre-discount unit margin on this item. I'm going to click Import, and this will now import all of the selected items that I've, in this case, one. Now let's look at the new product or service that we just created. In this case, the CS hours. If I double click in the row, it'll open up and let me edit and view this new product or service. The CS hours is now here. It has our 4,000 hours, and then we can choose whether we want to sell this as a fixed price item in a contract. So if you sell a 1-year project to a customer, you could set 50 hours to be used for the whole year, or you could set it to be 50 hours to be used each month, in which case you would set the fixed or recurring based on that. We're going to set this to be a recurring price item, and I can see that up in the top left because this is a recurring emblem. Now I'm in the core features. For each product that you create, there are product features and costs. Your costs can be assigned to your product features such that if you have a complex product with lots of features, you can assign costs to each one of those items. Let's go ahead and go to your pricing. So in the pricing tab, we haven't set a price yet. We know that our unit costs, this is your product setup screen. Here, we start off on the product info tab, and we select the same cost allocation period. This is your product or service details. And from here, you can see that some of these got carried over directly from your cost tab. We're going to go ahead and leave this set to be a fixed price item such that you can include a certain number of CS hours into a particular contract. You can set up multiple features and costs associated with each product. In this case, we're just going to leave this a 1-to-1 item. Another field here is the discount settings. So if you typically will only discount up to 10% for customer success hours, then let's leave that set to 10. And then let's say that you have a reseller and a distributor that's also involved. Those all need to be taken into account when you're doing pricing. In the pricing tab, I can see that my one-time unit price carried over and was automatically set for me such that I would have a 50% margin before adding any additional discounting. As you can see, we've got a total discount of about 26% because we have a 10% discount for sales, and then we have our reseller and distributor discounts, bringing it up to about 26% discount. That will bring our margin down to about 32%. This is an important factor. It's important to understand what the effect of discounting has on your unit margins. Next, we can add a volume discount if you want to have that for this particular product, which is relatively easy to add. You just set your beginning and end volumes, and then you put in what your discount levels are. Directly above, you can see that my total discounts now went up to 31%, and my post-discount margin is now down to 27.5%. So if our goal is to have a 90% target margin, our MarginDesk.AI assistant is telling us what we need to set this to have this 90% margin. I'm going to go ahead and save this item, and I'm going to return now and show you how to import and export from the cost. Now I'm going to show you how to export your costs to an Excel spreadsheet. First, click the gear icon, then click More, and then Export. So I'm going to export to Excel. It's the fastest way, but you can export just a few fields if you want to use them or do some kind of reporting on them, which if I click the button, you can see that you can select from a variety of the fields that are included with each one of these cost items. We've exported your costs to Excel. Now, if we leave the item numbers the same, we can modify almost everything else in the table and re-import them, and then that change takes effect en masse. So if you prefer to make changes to large number of items in Excel, you're welcome to do so. In this case, let's change the cost subcategory where I haven't filled it in yet. Okay, I've modified my Excel spreadsheet, and now let's save it and upload it again. Click the More button, import data, and drag your file. As you can see, it identified these as updates and not new items. If you leave the ID field blank, it will try to import and set up a new item. Also, if you add a new vendor in the spreadsheet, it will automatically create the new vendor for you. Updating the item only takes a few seconds usually. You can usually update dozens of items in just a few seconds. As you can see, we're importing 84 items from the cost spreadsheet. And there we have it. We've updated in bulk quantity. If you prefer to just edit directly inside of each one of these, you can edit just one at a time, or if you need to update dozens or hundreds of cost items, you can export them, modify them in Excel, and re-import them within a few seconds. And that's our cost item update. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or comments.